My sister used her pet snake to control our family for 7 years. The python dropped from Rachel's bag onto the table. Not accidentally, she unzipped it while looking straight at me. Sign the loan papers, Alvin, or pick up your new friend. Everyone froze. Dad's birthday cake sat between us, 70 candles still smoking. Mom's hand stopped halfway to her mouth. The snake coiled tighter, tongue flicking toward my plate. This wasn't the first time. November 2023. I found a corn snake in my car after refusing to co-sign her apartment lease. March 2023. Ball python in my shower when I confronted her about mom's missing medication money. September 2022. She released a pet spider during our family meeting about finances. Thing bit me. Hospital said it was venomous. May 2022. The first incident. An iguana appeared in our kitchen the day I suggested Rachel get a job. Every single time, the same excuse. Just an accident. They're harmless. You're overreacting. And my parents always took her side. She's going through a hard time, Alvin. Be patient with your sister. The python on the table wasn't moving anymore, just watching me. I did the math once. Medical bills from her accidents came to $13,500. The spider bite alone was $8,000. Infection from the iguana scratch, another $3,200. Anxiety medication I never needed before, $1,800 and counting. Then there was the money I gave her just to avoid these confrontations, $15,000 over 5 years. But that was nothing compared to what she took from our parents, $80,000 from their retirement. For her veterinary education, they said, the one she dropped out of 5 years ago. I lost 3 promotions because of Rachel's emergencies. Always some crisis that required family support. 2 girlfriends left because Rachel would show up with her pets during our dates. Just wanted to say hi, she'd claim. The second one moved to another state after Rachel left a tarantula in her car. Connor, my roommate, connected the dots before I did. Dude, she's literally weaponizing animals. The python struck. Not at me. At my hand reaching for my phone. Deep puncture, immediate blood. Within seconds, my fingers started swelling. 7 years, I said, watching blood pool on Dad's birthday tablecloth. 7 years of this. It started when Rachel dropped out of vet school to care for Mom during cancer treatment. Mom's cancer lasted 6 months. Rachel's caregiving never ended, neither did the payments, neither did the animals. She learned exactly which ones caused the most fear, which ones were barely legal, which ones left marks that looked accidental. Her dealer, some guy named Tony, supplied her with rescues. Exotic animals that needed rehabilitation. She kept them in her studio apartment. When neighbors complained, she'd bring something worse to their door. During family therapy last year, when the mediator stepped out, I heard Rachel laughing with Mom about training the family. They didn't know I was recording. My hand kept bleeding. The swelling spread past my wrist. Something's wrong, Connor said, grabbing his keys. That's not a normal python bite. Rachel pulled out the loan papers from her purse. $30,000 for an animal sanctuary she wanted to start. If I signed, I'd be liable for everything. Sign it now, she said, or this gets worse. My skin was turning purple. The room started spinning. Connor drove 90 miles an hour to the emergency room. My phone buzzed with a text from Rachel. This is what happens when you don't support family. Dr. Smith took one look at the wound pattern and stepped back. This isn't a normal python bite. Was there venom involved? That's when it hit me. The swelling, the tissue damage, the way the snake moved before striking. That wasn't a ball python, I whispered. Doctor. Smith called for anti-venom immediately. What species was it? I don't know, but my sister brought it. She gets them from some dealer named Tony. She's been doing this for years. The doctor's face changed. Your sister deliberately brought a venomous snake to a family dinner. She's escalated, I said, watching my hand turn black. Before they were just scary. Now they're actually illegal. Actually lethal. Dr. Smith pulled out her phone. I'm calling animal control, now. And Mr. Chen? This is assault with a deadly weapon. You need to file charges tonight. My parents would never forgive me. Rachel would destroy what was left of our family. Connor held up his phone. He'd filmed the whole dinner. Rachel unzipping the bag, the snake dropping, her demands. Everything. I've got proof, he said. 7 years of fear, 7 years of payments, 7 years of letting her control us with creatures that could kill. I looked at my dying hand and made the call. Animal control? My sister just attacked me with an illegally imported venomous snake. I know where she keeps the others. The emergency surgery took 4 hours to stop the tissue necrosis spreading up my arm. We need to know the exact species, the animal control officer said, standing at my hospital bed. The anti-venom barely worked. Whatever bit you wasn't native to North America. The door burst open. Rachel walked in with Mom, carrying a tin of cookies. This is all a misunderstanding, officer, Rachel said, not even looking at me. It was just an accident. I sat up despite the pain shooting through my arm. November 2023, corn snake in my car. March 2023, ball python in my shower. September 2022, venomous spider at dinner. May 2022, iguana in the kitchen. Every time I said no to money, every time I questioned where Dad's retirement went, you brought something worse. Mom touched my shoulder. Alvin, don't be dramatic. She brought your favorite cookies. Dramatic? I pulled out my phone with my good hand and showed the officer my photos. 7 years of emergency room visits, $13,000 in medical bills. Here's the receipts. The officer studied the images. Ma'am, if this snake was venomous, we're looking at federal charges. Rachel's face shifted. He's lying. He's always been jealous of my career. I rescue animals. He can't stand that I found my calling while he sits at a computer all day. Your calling? I laughed, then winced as it pulled at my IV. You dropped out of vet school 5 years ago. To care for Mom. Mom's cancer ended in 6 months. That was 5 years ago, Rachel. The officer took notes. I'll need to see your permits for these animals, ma'am. They're rescues, Rachel said. They don't need permits. Venomous snakes always need permits. Rachel grabbed Mom's arm. Tell them about Alvin's mental health issues. Mom hesitated. He has been stressed lately. The officer closed his notebook. We'll be searching your apartment within the hour, Miss Chen. After they left, I filed the formal complaint. Assault with a deadly weapon, possession of illegal animals, 7 years of documentation attached. Connor texted me an hour later. They're at her place. Cops everywhere. Then another text. Found 7 reptiles, but Rachel's boyfriend Edgar was here 20 minutes before they arrived. The search turned up 3 corn snakes, 2 ball pythons, and 2 iguanas, all in filthy cages, water bowls empty, some with infected wounds, but nothing venomous, nothing federally illegal. The officer called me that evening. Without the actual snake that bit you, we can't prove anything beyond animal neglect. She'll get a fine. She moved them, I said. Edgar helped her. Probably. But we need proof. My phone buzzed. Rachel had posted on Facebook. My mentally ill brother is trying to destroy my animal rescue work. I've dedicated my life to saving these innocent creatures, and now he's made false accusations because he can't handle a successful woman in the family. Please donate to my legal defense fund. Within an hour, she had 40 comments, people calling me a monster, saying I was jealous, that I was trying to institutionalize her. Connor showed me his phone. She tagged your work. Sure enough, she tagged my company's official page. Alvin Chen from TechFlow Solutions is persecuting animal rescue volunteers. My boss called 10 minutes later. Alvin, we need to talk about these social media posts. They're concerning. My boss's call led to an emergency HR meeting the next morning. We've received several complaints about your mental stability, the HR director said, sliding printed Facebook posts across the table. These are serious allegations from your sister. She says you attacked her rescue animals. She attacked me with a venomous snake. I have medical records. She says you provoked the animal, and frankly, Alvin, your story sounds... She paused. Unlikely. Rachel had recruited everyone. Aunt Martha called while I was leaving HR. How dare you try to put your sister in prison? She gave up everything to care for your mother. Mom's been healthy for 5 years, Aunt Martha. Don't you dare make excuses. You've always been jealous of her. Then Dad called. First time he'd called me directly in 2 years. Drop the charges. Dad, she could have killed me. Drop them, or don't come to family events anymore. Your mother can't handle this stress. What about my stress? My hand might never fully recover. You're being dramatic. It was just a snake bite. Connor tried to testify to animal control about what he witnessed. They dismissed him immediately. You're his roommate. You could be lying to help him. We need neutral witnesses. I have video, Connor said. Could be edited. Without the actual snake, we have nothing. The hospital bills arrived 3 days later. $47,000 total. Emergency surgery, anti-venom, 3 nights in ICU, tissue reconstruction. Insurance denied coverage. The reason typed in bold. Injuries from self-inflicted exotic animal exposure not covered. Self-inflicted? I called them immediately. Your sister says you grabbed the snake yourself. She provided a written statement. She's lying. Then you'll need to prove that in court, sir. Rachel's lawyer sent the cease and desist letter that afternoon. Further harassment or defamatory statements about Ms. Rachel Chen's legitimate animal rescue operation will result in legal action. Connor found me sitting on the bathroom floor that night, staring at the bills. We'll figure this out, he said. My phone buzzed. Rachel. The photo loaded slowly. A new snake, coiled in my parents' garage. This one had a triangular head, rattle on its tail. Drop everything or Mom and Dad are next, her text read. Another message, a photo of Mom's heart medication sitting next to terrariums. Oops, Mom can't find her pills. I'm helping her look. Then a picture of Dad's insulin stored in her mini fridge, surrounded by frozen mice for snake food. Dad asked me to hold his extra insulin, so forgetful lately. I called Dad immediately. Rachel has your insulin? She's helping us organize our medications. Very thoughtful of her. Dad, she's threatening you. Don't be ridiculous. She loves us. Check your insulin. Make sure it's still good. I'm hanging up now, Alvin. Another text from Rachel. Mom's been having chest pains. Stress from her ungrateful son. Dad's blood sugar has been unstable. They're so fragile now. Then the final message. A document. Power of attorney papers with my parents' shaky signatures. Sign over your inheritance now, or wait until they're gone. Your choice. Either way, I get everything. But if you make me wait, they might have some accidents first. You know how dangerous household pets can be. A video attached. Rachel in my parents' house, opening terrariums. Feeding time, she sang to the camera. The snakes were all awake, aggressive, striking at the glass. By the way, her last text read, that python that bit you? Tony says its venom causes progressive nerve damage. Might want to check if you're losing feeling in that hand yet. Could spread to your whole arm in a few months, unless you get the specific anti-venom, which only Tony knows, and he only tells people who pay their debts. My fingers were already tingling. The numbness I'd attributed to surgery was spreading. Connor grabbed my phone. We're going to the police. Real police, not animal control. With what proof? She's covered everything. Then we make her confess. How? She's escalating because she's winning. But when people think they're untouchable, they get sloppy. We just need to give her enough rope. I looked at my numb fingers, at the photo of the rattlesnake in my parents' garage, at the power of attorney papers. She's going to kill them, I said. Not if we stop her first. The local news interview aired while I was still fighting with insurance about my hospital bills. I've dedicated my life to rescuing exotic animals, Rachel told the reporter, sitting in front of a wall of empty terrariums she'd cleaned just for the cameras. These creatures have no voice. I'm their advocate. She showed forged veterinary training certificates. I knew they were fake because she dropped out second year, but the laminated papers looked official enough for Channel 7. Your brother filed charges against you, the reporter said. Rachel's eyes welled up perfectly on cue. Alvin has always been jealous of my gift with animals. He's terrified of them. Look. She pulled out her phone and showed a photo from when we were kids, me at age 6 crying next to her hamster cage after it bit me. He's trying to destroy my rescue work because he can't stand that I found my calling while he just sits at a computer all day. The GoFundMe went live during the broadcast. Help me save animals from my abusive brother. Within 6 hours, she had $5,000. Then came Mom's interview segment. They filmed her in the living room, the same room where Rachel kept her snakes during visits. Rachel gave up everything to care for me during cancer, Mom said. She was accepted to one of the best veterinary programs in the country, but she chose family instead. Dad sat beside her, nodding. Alvin was too busy with his computer job to help. Rachel sacrificed her future for us. The reporter asked about the snake incident. A misunderstanding, Mom said. Alvin grabbed the snake himself. He's always been unstable around animals. But he's in the hospital with tissue damage, the reporter pressed. He provoked it, Dad said firmly. Rachel would never hurt anyone. The segment ended with Rachel's vet tech friend, someone named Carla I'd never met before. Rachel Chen is the most caring person I know. She saved dozens of animals that others would have euthanized. What her brother is doing is criminal. Connor showed me the GoFundMe comments while I sat in my apartment, hands still numb, bills scattered across my coffee table. This poor woman. Her brother sounds psychotic. I donated $100. Keep saving those animals. Some people can't stand to see women succeed. One comment stood out. I know Alvin Chen from TechFlow. He screamed at a coworker about her service dog once. Total psycho. I'd never screamed at anyone about a service dog. I'd never even worked with someone who had one. She's planting stories, Connor said. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. I answered. Is this Alvin Chen? A woman's voice, professional. Yes. I'm calling from the State Veterinary Board. We received your complaint about Rachel Chen practicing without a license. My heart jumped. Yes, We've reviewed her documentation. Everything appears to be in order. In fact, we're more concerned about your harassment of a licensed professional. She's filed a complaint against you for defamation. She's not licensed. She dropped out of school. Her transcripts say otherwise. Have a good day, Mr. Chen, and please be advised that further false reports will result in legal action. She hung up. Connor grabbed his laptop. Let me see those transcripts. We found them posted on Rachel's new website. Chen Animal Rescue, complete with donation button, testimonials, and her credentials. The transcripts showed straight A's, graduation with honors, state certification. These are photoshopped, I said. Prove it, Connor said. The school she went to closed last year. Records were destroyed in a fire. How convenient. Rachel texted me a screenshot of the GoFundMe, $7,000 now. Every dollar goes to the animals you tried to murder, she wrote. By the way, Mom's heart medication went missing again. So stressful when elderly parents get forgetful, especially when they're already dealing with an unstable son. Sign the inheritance papers, Alvin. Or this gets worse. Another text, a video of my dad in their garage, Rachel beside him with a cloth bag. Just moving some rescues to a safer location, she said to the camera. Since my brother made threats. Dad reached for the bag. Rachel pulled it back. Careful, Dad. This one's aggressive when startled. The bag moved. Something inside hissed. Dad stepped back quickly, nearly falling. Rachel caught his arm, smiling at the camera. Good thing I'm here to protect them. The next morning, Cousin Derek was waiting in the TechFlow parking lot. You need to apologize before this gets worse, he said, blocking my car door. Derek, she attacked me with a venomous snake. She told us you grabbed it yourself. Everyone knows you've always been unstable. Everyone? Or just Rachel? The whole family's talking about it. Uncle Ryan's ready to cut you out of his will. You know he doesn't tolerate family drama. I pushed past him. Then he should talk to the person causing it. Inside, 3 coworkers avoided eye contact. My manager pulled me aside. Alvin, we've had more complaints. Someone sent us videos of you harassing your sister. What videos? She showed me her phone. Edited clips from Connor's footage. Just me yelling at Rachel. No context. No snake. No attack. Mom called during lunch. Father Michael is concerned. The whole congregation is praying for our family troubles. What did Rachel tell them? The truth. That you're having a mental health crisis. That you attacked her rescue animals. Mom, I'm in the hospital with nerve damage from her snake. You provoked it, Alvin. Everyone saw. That night, Edgar started his surveillance. Connor spotted him first. Black Honda Civic idling outside our building at 2 a.m, engine running. Should we call the cops? Connor asked. He's not doing anything illegal. Just sitting there. The next morning, a note under my windshield. Family is everything. Edgar's handwriting. Then the Craigslist post went live. Connor caught it during his lunch break. Free electronics, door unlocked, first come, first served, with our exact address. Strangers started showing up at 3 in the afternoon, knocking, then trying the door handle. One guy actually brought a truck. The post said free electronics, he argued when Connor told him to leave. We called the police. They came 2 hours later. Someone's pranking you. Change your locks. The second wave came at midnight. Connor called the police again. Different officers. Same advice. Uncle Ryan called the next morning. I hadn't heard from him in 3 years. You're tearing this family apart, he said without greeting. Uncle Ryan, Rachel's been... I don't care about your excuses. Your mother is having chest pains from stress. Your father's blood pressure is through the roof. Fix this or you're out of my will. And before you say you don't care about money, remember that's $1 million you're walking away from. Rachel had been working him. Of course she had. The family group chat exploded that afternoon. Rachel had posted screenshots of my texts to her. Except they were edited, rearranged, made me look deranged. I'm genuinely scared for his mental health, she wrote. He keeps talking about snakes that don't exist. Aunt Martha responded immediately. Maybe he needs professional help. I've suggested that, Rachel replied. He refused. I'm documenting everything in case we need an intervention. Mom added, we're doing our best to support both our children through this difficult time. 17 family members liked her comment. Edgar escalated. Now he'd parked directly across from our door. Not blocking it technically, just sitting there at random hours. Sometimes 2 in the morning, sometimes noon, always with the engine running. This is harassment, I told the police the 3rd time. Has he threatened you? No, but then it's not harassment. He's allowed to sit in his car on a public street. Connor started recording everything. Edgar sitting outside, the strangers knocking, the notes appearing under our door. We're building a case, he said. Against what? Being creepy isn't illegal. Then Rachel sent another group message, a photo of me from last week, taken through our apartment window. I was sitting on the couch, head in my hands. She'd caught me during a breakdown about the medical bills. This is what mental illness looks like, she wrote. I took this while doing a wellness check. He wouldn't answer his door. I'm so worried. You're such a good sister, Aunt Martha replied, taking care of him even after everything. Family is everything, Rachel responded. The same phrase from Edgar's notes. My phone rang. Unknown number. Stop documenting things, Rachel's voice, but different, colder. Every recording Connor makes, every photo, every complaint to police. I know about all of it. How? Edgar's cousin works dispatch. We know every call you make. Stop documenting, sign the inheritance papers, or Mom and Dad's next accident won't be so minor. She hung up. Connor looked at me. We need to get out of here. And go where? She'll find us. Then we need to end this. How? Set a trap. Make her confess. Get it recorded legally. She's too smart for that. No, she's too confident. There's a difference. Alone in my apartment at 3 in the morning, my hand throbbing with nerve pain that hadn't stopped since the bite. Maybe I was overreacting. Maybe everyone was right. Maybe I'd blown this whole thing out of proportion. I couldn't sleep. Every sound made me jump. Was that Edgar's car? Was that footsteps? Was something sliding under my door? I booked an emergency therapy session for the next morning. Dr. Patterson was the only therapist who'd take my insurance and had immediate availability. Tell me what's been happening, she said. I showed her everything. The medical records, the photos, the timeline of incidents, the GoFundMe, the family messages. She studied the documentation for 20 minutes without speaking. Then she looked up. This is gaslighting on a massive scale, she said. Your sister has weaponized your entire family against you. So I'm not crazy? The animals are weapons, but the real abuse is psychological. She systematically isolated you, destroyed your credibility, and made you question your own reality. But what if I did provoke the snakes somehow? What if... Stop! Dr. Patterson leaned forward. This is what victims do. They blame themselves because it's easier than accepting someone they love is hurting them deliberately. I left her office feeling validated, but somehow worse. If this was real, if Rachel was really doing this intentionally, then my parents were choosing her. My whole family was choosing her. That night, I sat on the bathroom floor crying. The medical bills were spread around me. $47,000, my savings gone, my credit maxed, my hand might never fully recover. Connor found me there at midnight. Maybe I should just sign the papers, I said. Give her the inheritance. Make this stop. That won't make it stop. It'll make it worse. How could it possibly get worse? Connor sat down beside me. Dude, I need to show you something. He pulled out his phone. I've been recording everything. The video started playing. Edgar outside our apartment at all hours. Rachel at our door when we weren't home, trying the handle. The strangers who came for the fake Craigslist ads. The family members who'd shown up to check on me, but really just harassed me about Rachel. This is evidence, Connor said. Real evidence. She has Edgar's cousin at dispatch. They'll know if we report it. Not if we don't go through local police. Another video. This one from last week. Rachel in our hallway, talking on her phone. Connor had been coming home from work and heard her. He's breaking. Her voice was clear. Another week and he'll sign anything. The nerve damage is spreading. Tony says without the specific antivenom, he'll lose function in the whole arm within 6 months. She laughed. Mom and Dad don't even question why I'm there so much. They think I'm helping. I could put a cobra in their bed and they'd thank me for checking on them. Connor stopped the video. You're not crazy. She's a predator. But even with this, who'd believe us? She's got the whole family convinced I'm unstable. Then we need more. We need her to confess. She's too careful. Connor pulled up another video, Rachel again, this time with Edgar. They were in the parking lot. After he signs the papers, what then? Edgar asked. Then we wait. Mom and Dad aren't young. Accidents happen, especially with dangerous pets around. Edgar laughed. You're fucking cold. I'm practical. 7 years of free caregiving should come with a price tag. I'm just collecting what I'm owed. The video ended. This is attempted murder, Connor said. She's planning to kill your parents. My phone buzzed. Rachel. You look tired, her text read. A photo was attached. It was me, taken through our bathroom window, from tonight, from an hour ago, while I was crying on the floor. Sign the papers tomorrow, or I release the python in Mom's room. The real one this time. The one that nearly killed you. Sweet dreams. Connor grabbed my shoulders. We're going to the FBI tomorrow. This is extortion across state lines now. She made a mistake. She gave us everything we need. I looked at my damaged hand, at the bills, at the photo she just sent. She's watching us right now, I said. Let her watch. She thinks she's won. That's when predators get sloppy. But I couldn't shake the feeling that Rachel never got sloppy. She got exactly what she wanted. Connor was right about Rachel getting sloppy when she thought she'd won. I started documenting everything properly. Screenshots with timestamps. Videos backed up to 3 different clouds. Medical records organized chronologically. Every text, every call, every incident filed and cross-referenced. Then I found Tony online. His website was barely functional. Exotic solutions. Rare animals for special needs. The reviews told a different story. Sold me a sick iguana that died within days. Never checked my permits, just took cash. Ball python had parasites. Vet bills cost thousands. We'll sell anything to anyone if the price is right. One review stopped me cold. Sold venomous species without proper documentation. My son nearly died. I dug deeper into Rachel's past. The vet school had digitized their old disciplinary records. There it was, Rachel Chen, expelled for ethical violations. The details were worse than I imagined. She'd been caught using school resources to acquire controlled substances. Not for the animals. The investigation found she was taking ketamine and selling it. When confronted, she'd claimed it was for research. The cancer care story started unraveling next. Mom's cancer was real. Her treatment was real. But the hospital records showed something else. Multiple complaints from Mom about missing pain medication, oxycodone disappearing from her bedside. The nurses had suspected a family member but couldn't prove it. Rachel had been stealing Mom's pain meds and selling them. That's how she funded her first exotic pets. I found 3 other families Tony had sold to. Connor helped me track them down through social media. The Johnsons in Michigan. Their 8-year-old daughter permanently scarred when a docile monitor lizard Tony sold them turned aggressive. The Parks in Ohio. Their son spent a week in the ICU after a spider bite. Tony had sworn it wasn't venomous. The Brennans in Indiana. They were suing Tony after their grandmother died from an infection caused by a snake bite. He'd sold them a completely safe species that turned out to be mildly venomous and carrying bacteria. The pattern was clear. Tony supplied dangerous animals to anyone with cash. People like Rachel weaponized them. I called the Brennan's lawyer. We've been building a federal case against Tony for 2 years, she said. If your sister bought from him, we need her records. I don't have those. Then get them. Or get her to admit it. On tape. Legally. How? Family mediation. Court-appointed mediator. Everything's recorded. It's admissible. I hung up and looked at Connor. We need to get Rachel into mediation. She'll never agree to that. My phone buzzed. Mom, your father and I want to resolve this. We're scheduling family mediation. You'll come, or we're cutting you off completely. Connor read it over my shoulder. That's convenient. Too convenient. Rachel had orchestrated this. She thought she was walking into her final victory. She's going to use this to force me to sign the inheritance papers, I said. Or, Connor said, she's going to confess. Why would she do that? Because she thinks she's already won. Because Mom and Dad will take her side no matter what she says. Because she's been getting away with this for 7 years. I thought about Dr. Patterson's words, about predators getting overconfident. We need a lawyer, I said. I know someone, Connor said. She does pro bono work for abuse victims. I can't afford. Pro bono means free. Her name's Delia. She escaped a similar situation with her brother. She'll understand. I looked at my numb hand, at the evidence we'd gathered, at the message from Mom. Rachel thought mediation would be her victory lap. She had no idea she was walking into her own trap. Delia met us at a coffee shop to review the mediation strategy before I disappeared completely. You need to vanish, she said. New address, no contact except through me. Make her desperate. I moved that night. Connor knew the location, nobody else, not even my parents, especially not my parents. The new apartment was a fortress, security cameras at every entrance, motion sensors, a doorbell camera that recorded 24/7. The landlord thought I was paranoid until I showed him the police reports. Your sister did this? He installed an extra deadbolt for free. I switched to remote work the next day, told my boss I needed to focus on my recovery. He agreed immediately. The Rachel drama had been affecting the whole office. I blocked everyone except Mom and Dad on social media. Even them, I moved to a separate phone. Emergency only. Real emergency, not Rachel emergency. The first test came 3 days later. If you won't come to me, I'll come to you. Rachel texted my old number. She showed up at my old apartment building at midnight. The new tenants called me, terrified. Some woman was pounding on their door, screaming about her brother. She says you live here, the husband said over the phone. She won't leave. I moved out last week. Call the police. They did. Rachel told the officer she was visiting her brother, showed them old photos of us together at that address. He's having a mental health crisis, she told them. I'm worried he might hurt himself. The police made the new tenants prove I didn't live there anymore. Lease agreements, utility bills. Finally, they made Rachel leave, but she wasn't done. She found my gym next. I had been going there for 3 years. Tuesday morning, she walked in with a massive iguana on a leash. Emotional support animal, she announced to the staff. The iguana was clearly aggressive, hissing at everyone, whipping its tail. People started backing away. Ma'am, we don't allow animals except service dogs, the manager said. This is a service animal. Here's my documentation. She pulled out obviously fake papers. The iguana lunged at a woman on the treadmill. Chaos erupted. People running, screaming. Someone pulled the fire alarm. Where's Alvin Chen? Rachel shouted over the noise. I know he comes here. This is his support animal. He forgot it. The manager checked their system. Mr. Chen hasn't been here in 5 days. You're lying. You're helping him hide from his family. Security escorted her out, but the damage was done. The manager called me an hour later. Your membership is terminated, he said. Whatever family drama you have, we can't have it here. I wasn't even there. Doesn't matter. She said she'll keep coming back until she finds you. We can't risk it. Connor was furious. She's systematically destroying your life. That's the point. Make me so desperate I'll sign anything. Rachel posted on social media that night. Still searching for my brother. He's disappeared, likely having a psychological break. If anyone sees Alvin Chen, please contact me immediately. I just want to know he's safe. Hundreds of concerned comments. People sharing her post. My high school friends reaching out to her with sympathy. Then she escalated again. She hired a private investigator. I knew because he called my old landlord, my gym, my doctor's office, all asking for my new address, all claiming to be worried family. Your sister seems very concerned, my doctor's receptionist told me during a follow-up call. She's the reason I'm seeing the doctor. Please don't give out any information. We would never. But she was very persistent. Said you're suicidal. The wellness check started next. Police showing up at Connor's apartment, my office, even my parents' house. All because Rachel reported I was in danger. Each time I had to prove I was fine. Show ID. Answer questions. Demonstrate mental stability. This is harassment, I told one officer. She says she's worried about you. She attacked me with a venomous snake. That's not what she told us. Connor kept recording everything, every visit, every call, every post. We're building a case, he said. For what? Being a concerned sister? That's how everyone sees it. My phone buzzed. The emergency line. Mom. Alvin, where are you? Rachel says you're missing. I'm fine, Mom. I just moved. Where? I can't tell you that. Your sister is worried sick. Mom, she knows exactly where I am. She's stalking me. Don't be dramatic. The mediation is next week. You'll be there. It wasn't a question. The mediation was in 6 days and I needed every piece of evidence organized perfectly. I joined an online support group for family financial abuse survivors that night. Typed my story at 2 a.m, hands still numb, watching the cursor blink. 300 people in the group. Most had similar stories. Parents, siblings, adult children. All taking, all destroying. 7 years and $80,000, I typed. Plus medical bills from the snake attacks. The responses came immediately. Document everything. Get a lawyer. You're not alone. One message stood out. I'm a paralegal. Similar situation with my brother. Can we talk? Delia called me an hour later, 3 a.m, and she was wide awake. Tell me everything, she said. I talked for 2 hours. Every incident, every threat, every snake. She didn't interrupt once. This is criminal assault, not family drama, she said when I finished. I'll review your documentation pro bono. I can't afford. Pro bono means free. Send me everything. I spent the next 3 days organizing 7 years of evidence, medical records showing the pattern of injuries, every emergency room visit mapped chronologically. The escalation from iguana scratch to venomous snakebite charted like a graph going up, up, up. Financial records came next. 15,000 in direct payments to avoid confrontations, each one dated, each one following a threat. The correlation was clear. Refuse money, get attacked. Pay up, get 2 weeks of peace. Connor's videos filled 3 drives. Edgar sitting outside our apartment at all hours. Rachel trying our door when we weren't home. The Craigslist harassers. The welfare checks. Hours and hours of stalking. But the text messages were the worst. Reading them chronologically showed the escalation. 2019. Can you lend me 500? 2020. I need 3,000 or I'll lose my apartment. 2021. Give me the money or I'll tell Mom you're the reason I dropped out. 2022. Pay up or something might happen to your car. 2023. You know what my pets can do. 2024. Sign the papers or Mom and Dad are next. I connected with 3 other families who'd bought from Tony. The Johnsons sent photos of their daughter's scars. The Parks shared their son's medical records. The Brennans gave me their lawyer's contact. We're building a federal case, their lawyer told me. Your sister's confession would seal it. Dr. Smith from the ER became my advocate. She'd seen 3 cases like mine in 2 years, all from Tony's customers. I'm writing about this for the American Journal of Emergency Medicine, she said. Exotic animal assault as a form of domestic abuse. Your case is the most documented. She introduced me to other victims. We formed our own support group, 5 families, all terrorized by pet lovers who'd bought from Tony. My new therapist specialized in family trauma. Dr. Martinez had seen it all. You're not responsible for their enabling, she said during our third session. Your parents chose Rachel. That's their failure, not yours. But they're old, vulnerable. They're adults who've watched her hurt you for 7 years and done nothing. That's not vulnerability, that's complicity. The words hit hard because they were true. Every bite, every threat, every stolen dollar. They saw it all and chose to look away. Connor became my anchor. He worked from home now too, said it was for flexibility, but I knew it was to keep me safe. We installed more cameras, practiced the mediation strategy with Delia, built our case file thicker and thicker. The support group became my new family. Connor, Delia, Dr. Smith, Dr. Martinez, people who believed me. People who didn't say I was overreacting or dramatic or jealous. I haven't felt safe in 7 years, I told them during a video call. You weren't safe, Delia said. But you are now. We've got you. My phone buzzed. The emergency line. Rachel had found it somehow. 6 days until mediation, her text read. 6 days to decide if you want parents or not. A photo was attached. Mom's pill organizer, but the medications were all wrong. Heart pills in the Monday slot, blood thinners in Tuesday, nothing in Wednesday through Friday. Oops, her next text read. Mom's getting so forgetful. Good thing I'm helping her organize. Connor screenshotted immediately. That's attempted murder. That's evidence, Delia corrected. She just gave us everything we need. I looked around my fortress apartment, cameras recording, real friends beside me, legal team assembled, evidence documented. For the first time in 7 years, I wasn't afraid. Rachel thought the mediation would be her victory. She had no idea we'd turned it into her trial. 6 days, I said. 6 days until she confesses everything. How do you know she will? Connor asked. Because she can't help herself. When she thinks she's won, she has to gloat. And she thinks she's already won. 5 days before mediation, Mom's heart episode changed everything. The call came at 3 a.m. Dad, hysterical. Your mother's in the hospital. Heart attack. It's bad. I didn't rush. I called the hospital first. Helen Chen? Yes, she's here. Admitted for chest pains. Stable condition, non-critical. Not a heart attack? Stress-induced angina. She'll be fine. I drove to the hospital anyway. Rachel was already there, holding court in Mom's room. This is your fault, she said the moment I walked in. Dad turned on me. Your mother could have died while you hid. Mom was sitting up in bed, eating pudding. I just want my children to get along. Rachel pulled out a folder. Power of attorney documents. Since you won't help, I need to manage their affairs. The signatures were already there. Mom's shaky handwriting. Dad's resignation in blue ink. This gives you control of everything, I said. Someone has to be responsible. I turned to Dad. She's already taken $80,000. She needed it for her education. What education? She dropped out 5 years ago. Don't speak about your sister that way. Rachel's hand went to her stomach. Actually, I have news. I'm pregnant. Mom gasped, started crying. Happy tears. Really? Dad reached for Rachel's hand. 8 weeks. That's why I've been so emotional lately. Hormones. The room erupted. Nurses congratulating. Dad hugging Rachel. Mom calling relatives from her hospital bed. I did the math. 8 weeks ago, Rachel had been posting Instagram photos in bikinis, drinking margaritas in Cancun with Edgar. Her flat stomach on full display. This was her third pregnancy in 5 years. The first one ended right after Mom and Dad paid off her credit cards. $25,000. The second miscarriage happened the day after they co-signed her car loan. Congratulations, I said. Rachel smiled. I'll need family support now more than ever. Of course, Mom said. Anything you need. Actually, Rachel said, I need Alvin to sign something. She pulled out the inheritance papers. For the baby's future. I want everything in writing. Security Mom turned to me. Sign them, Alvin. For your nephew or niece. She's lying, I said. The room went silent. She's not pregnant. Check her Cancun photos from 8 weeks ago. Drinking, smoking, flat stomach. Rachel's face didn't change. Those were mocktails. And early pregnancy doesn't show. You've been pregnant 3 times, always right when you need money, always miscarrying after you get it. Mom's hand went to her chest, real pain this time. The monitor started beeping, nurses rushed in. Get him out, Rachel said. He's killing her. Security escorted me to the lobby. Dad followed. You're done, he said. Sign the papers or never contact us again. Dad, she's manipulating you. Your sister is pregnant. Your mother is in the hospital because of you. Sign the papers or you're no longer our son. He walked away. Connor picked me up an hour later. I sat in his car, staring at nothing. She's not pregnant, I said. I know. They believe her anyway. They want to believe her. There's a difference. My phone buzzed. Rachel. Sign the papers tomorrow, or I tell the hospital Mom's been taking the wrong heart medication for weeks. Oops. Elderly patients get so confused. Good thing I've been helping, or trying to. Hard when the medications keep getting mixed up. A photo. Mom's pill organizer. Monday's compartment had blood thinners. Tuesday had diabetes medication that wasn't even hers. That could kill her, Connor said. That's the point. 4 days before mediation, I held my ground. No contact until you get rid of the illegal animals, I texted Rachel. Her response came at 6 a.m. Not a text, a welfare check. 2 officers knocked on my new apartment door. We received a report of suicidal ideation. I'm fine. This is harassment. Sir, we need to verify your mental state. Can you answer some questions? 20 minutes of proving I wasn't suicidal, showing my work laptop to prove I had a job, showing my medication to prove I was taking care of my health, showing my calendar with the mediation date circled to prove I had future plans. Your sister seems very concerned, one officer said. I showed them my documentation folder, 7 years of police reports, medical records, harassment videos. You need a restraining order, the other officer said. I tried. Judge denied it. Why? Family disputes don't qualify. They left, shaking their heads. Rachel knew this. She'd played this game before. She knew exactly where the legal lines were and danced right up to them. 3 days before mediation, Dad's birthday dinner. 3 months since the python attack that nearly killed me. Mom called on the emergency line. Just 2 hours, no animals, I promise. Mom, please, your father is 70. He just wants both his children there. I agreed but told Connor he was coming as my witness. Record everything, I said. We arrived at exactly 6. Rachel was already there, with a boa constrictor draped around her shoulders. What is that? I asked. My emotional support animal. It's legal. I have documentation. She pulled out papers. I didn't need to look closely to know they were forged. The letterhead was crooked. The doctor's signature was printed, not signed. You promised no animals, I told Mom. It's for her anxiety, honey. Be understanding. The snake moved, sliding closer to Rachel's neck. Everyone at the table tensed, except her. Sit down, Alvin, Dad said. It's my birthday. No. Connor had his phone out, recording everything. Put that away, Rachel said. No. The snake's head turned toward me, tongue flicking. Rachel smiled. He's friendly. Want to hold him? She stood up, moving toward me with the snake. I backed away. Keep that thing away from me. It's just a boa, completely harmless, unless you're a rat. She stepped closer. Are you a rat, Alvin? I left. Connor right behind me, still filming. Rachel followed us to the door, screaming. You're destroying this family. Mom's in the hospital because of you. Dad's birthday ruined because of you. Everything's always about you. The neighbors came out to watch. Perfect. More witnesses to her crazy. Sign the papers, she screamed. Sign them or next time the snake won't be harmless. Connor caught it all. The threat. The snake. The forged documents. That's evidence, he said in the car. No. That's Rachel telling me exactly what she's planning. What do you mean? She just promised next time the snake won't be harmless. She's telling me she's bringing something venomous to mediation. She wouldn't. It's court-appointed. There's security. She brought an illegal ball python to Dad's birthday. She'll find a way. Connor looked at the video on his phone, Rachel's face twisted with rage. The boa constrictor around her shoulders, our parents standing behind her, doing nothing. We need to warn the mediator, he said. No, we need her to bring it. We need her to threaten me in front of a court official. We need her to confess. That's insane. That's justice. September 2024. The mediation room felt like a trap. Rachel walked in carrying paperwork. No bag, no animals. She dressed like a kindergarten teacher, pastel cardigan, pearl earrings, playing the victim. I just want to heal our family, she said to the mediator. Ms. Peterson, court-appointed, started the recording. This session is legally documented. Please state your names. We went around the table. Mom, Dad, Rachel, me. Delia sat beside me as my legal representative. Rachel started crying before anyone asked a question. I've dedicated my life to rescuing animals. Alvin's trying to destroy my work. Let's discuss the May incident, Ms. Peterson said. The snake bite that hospitalized Mr. Chen. It was an accident. Can you describe what happened? I brought my rescue python to Dad's birthday dinner. Alvin grabbed it. I opened my folder, started laying out photos. 7 years of documentation. What are those? Ms. Peterson asked. Evidence of a pattern. I showed the first photo. November 2023. Corn snake in my car. Rachel's face tightened. That escaped from its enclosure. Next photo. March 2023. Ball python in my shower. Another escape. September 2022. Venomous spider at a family dinner. I don't control where spiders go. Ms. Peterson studied the timeline I'd created. Dates, incidents, medical bills. Ms. Chen, these incidents seem to correlate with... She traced her finger along the pattern. Requests for money? That's ridiculous. I pulled out my phone. Showed the text from November 2023. Give me 5,000 or something might happen to your car. Next morning, corn snake. Rachel shifted in her seat. Those texts are out of context. What context? He owes me. For everything I sacrificed. Mom reached for Rachel's hand. Honey, be careful what you say. Rachel pulled away. No, I'm tired of being careful. Tired of pretending. Ms. Peterson leaned forward. Pretending what? That this is about animals. That this is about rescue work. The room went quiet. What's it really about? Ms. Peterson asked. Rachel looked at me. He needed to learn respect. She caught herself, tried to backtrack. Respect for animals, for living creatures. But she'd said it. On legal recording. How does putting snakes in someone's car teach respect for animals? Ms. Peterson asked. I meant, it's about control? I suggested. Shut up, Alvin. Ms. Chen, the mediator warned. Please answer the question. Rachel's mask was cracking. He got everything, the good job, the apartment, the life, while I cleaned bedpans. So you used animals to even the score? I used what I had. She stopped, realized she was saying too much. I want to clarify something, she said, composing herself. Any animals in Alvin's vicinity were rescues that needed temporary homes. If he felt threatened, that's his phobia, not my responsibility. Nice save, but I had more. What about this? I showed Miss Peterson my May medical records. Tissue damage from envenomation. The doctor confirmed this wasn't a regular python bite. Alvin provoked it, grabbed it wrong. The snake you brought to dinner? It was stressed. Sometimes stressed snakes release. Pythons don't have venom, Ms. Peterson interrupted. Rachel froze. I misspoke. It was a different species, a rescue. I didn't know it was venomous. You didn't know? These animals come from terrible situations. Sometimes they're mislabeled. Dad finally spoke. Rachel knows every animal she has. She's studied them for years. Everyone turned to him. What? He looked confused by our stares. She always tells us about each species, their Latin names, where they're from, what they eat. Rachel's face went white. Dad, stop helping. Ms. Peterson made notes. So you're very knowledgeable about your animals? Yes. But you didn't know this one was venomous? It was new. From where? A dealer. I mean a rescue organization. Which organization? I don't remember. You don't remember where you got a snake that hospitalized your brother? Rachel's hands were shaking. Tony's Exotic Rescue. Is that licensed? I assume so. You didn't check? I trust Tony. Ms. Peterson wrote everything down. We'll need Tony's contact information. Rachel's cardigan had sweat stains now. The pearls looked like they were choking her. I think we should take a break, Mom suggested. We're almost done, Ms. Peterson said. Just a few more questions about the pattern of incidents. Rachel stood up. I don't feel well. She headed for the door. Behind her, she'd left her folder open. On top was a photo of a snake I'd never seen before. Triangular head. Venomous. Ms. Peterson called Rachel back from the door before she could escape. Miss Chen, please sit down. We need to discuss what you mean by respect. Rachel returned to her seat. Her hands were shaking. I misspoke. You said your brother needed to learn respect. Respect for what? For the sacrifices I made. The words came out bitter. Mom reached for Rachel's hand again, but Rachel yanked it away. What sacrifices? Ms. Peterson asked. Everything. My whole life. Rachel's voice cracked. I was 23, top of my class at vet school. I had a future. And then? Mom got cancer. Real cancer. Not the fake kind everyone claims for sympathy. She looked at Mom. Stage 3, 6 months of chemo. Someone had to be there. Alvin was working, Dad said quietly. Alvin was always working, always too busy, always had an excuse. Rachel turned to me. Remember when Mom had her first chemo? Where were you? At a job interview. A job interview. While I held her hair back as she vomited blood, Ms. Peterson made notes. So you dropped out to care for your mother? I took a semester off, then another, then the school said I'd missed too much. Had to reapply. Rachel laughed. By then, Mom was better, but Dad's diabetes got worse. Then his heart problems. Then Mom's anxiety. Always something. And Alvin? Alvin got promoted, got his apartment, got his life. Her voice went cold. While I changed bedpans and counted pills and drove to endless doctor appointments. So you felt owed? I didn't feel owed. I was owed. Mom started crying. Rachel, we never asked you to quit school. Rachel turned on her. You didn't have to ask. Every call, every guilt trip, every Alvin's too busy but maybe you could help. We didn't mean, yes, you did. You wanted someone to control, someone to depend on, and when I finally started taking what I deserved, you let me. The money, Ms. Peterson asked. $80,000 over 7 years. Rachel said it proudly. You know what home health care costs? $20 an hour minimum, 24/7 care? Do the math. But you weren't providing 24/7 care, I said. Wasn't I? Who did they call at midnight when Dad's blood sugar crashed? Who drove Mom to every appointment? Who gave up everything? So you used animals to get payment. Rachel's mask slipped completely. He needed to feel what I felt. Helpless, scared, out of control. She turned to me. Every time you said no to money, every time you questioned where Dad's retirement went, I reminded you who really had the power. With snakes? With fear. The snakes were just tools, each one carefully chosen. Corn snakes for small refusals, pythons for bigger ones. And the venomous one? She smiled. That was special. You'd stopped being afraid of the regular ones. Mom gasped. Dad's face went white. Ms. Peterson leaned forward. You're admitting you deliberately escalated to venomous snakes. I'm admitting I did what I had to do. To extort money? To survive? To get compensation? To make him understand? Dad finally spoke. Rachel, what you're saying. This is confession to assault. Rachel laughed. And what are you going to do, Dad? Call the police on your daughter, the one who wiped your ass when you couldn't walk after surgery? Rachel! Mom sobbed. What? We're being honest now, right? She looked around the table. You all knew. Every snake, every accident, every threat. You knew and you paid because it was easier than dealing with me. We were scared, Mom whispered. Good. You should be. You created this. You chose the easy kid to sacrifice. The daughter over the son. The caregiver over the breadwinner. Ms. Peterson stopped writing. Ms. Chen, I need to remind you this is being legally recorded. I don't care anymore. They want to cut me off? Fine. But they should know what they bought with their silence. She stood up. 7 years of my life. My education. My future. All for a family that valued Alvin's paycheck over my sacrifice. That's not true, Dad said. Isn't it? When did you ever tell Alvin to help? When did you ever say, Rachel needs a break? When did you ever choose me? The room was silent. The snakes were just evening the score, making him feel a fraction of what I felt every single day. Through violence, Ms. Peterson said. Through education. He learned to respect what I'd given up. Every bite was a lesson. You could have killed him, Rachel shrugged. But I didn't. I was careful, calculated. I knew exactly how much venom, exactly which species. I'm not a monster. I'm a professional. She looked at me. Even if I dropped out, I learned enough. Enough to know which snakes hurt, which ones maim, which ones kill. And which one did you use on Alvin? Rachel smiled again, that cold, satisfied smile. Wouldn't you like to know? Ms. Peterson wouldn't let Rachel leave after that admission. Tell me specifically about the May incident, the snake that hospitalized your brother. Rachel sat back down. No more tears. No more pretending, just cold calculation. The ball python was getting boring. He stopped flinching when I brought it out. So you escalated? I upgraded. Tony had something special, a saw-scaled viper, small, easy to hide, perfect amount of venom. Mom's breathing got shallow. Dad grabbed her hand. You brought a viper to your father's birthday dinner? Ms. Peterson's voice stayed steady, but her pen shook. Tony said it would hurt, not kill, just enough venom to cause tissue damage. Make a point. What point? That I'm done being ignored. She turned to me. You stopped taking my calls. Stopped responding to texts. Thought you could just cut me out. You were threatening me. I was reminding you of your obligations, your family, your place. Ms. Peterson interrupted. You researched which snakes cause tissue damage? Of course. I'm not stupid. I knew exactly what each species could do, how much venom, what kind of damage, recovery time. Why did you need him hospitalized? Rachel laughed. Dead, he can't pay for things, can't sign papers, can't be useful. Hospitalized? He's scared, vulnerable, compliant. This was calculated assault. This was education. She pulled out her phone, started scrolling. Want to see my system? I have it all documented. She showed Miss Peterson the screen. Corn snakes for refusing small loans, non-venomous but scary. Ball pythons for bigger refusals, those can actually hurt. Spiders for when he questions the money, black widows work best. And venomous snakes? For when regular fear stops working, when they get too comfortable, too bold. She looked at our parents. You knew. Every time. You saw the patterns. Mom was having a panic attack, gasping, clutching her chest. Rachel rolled her eyes. Oh, stop it, Mother. This isn't about you. You're admitting to systematic assault, Miss Peterson said. I'm admitting to survival tactics, to getting what I was owed, through violence. Through reminders of vulnerability. There's a difference. She turned back to me. You deserved every bite, every scratch, every moment of fear. Why? Because you got to leave. Got to build your life while I rotted in that house, watching Mom deteriorate, watching Dad give up, being the only one who cared. You didn't care. You stole their money. I took payment for services rendered. You drugged Mom's pills wrong. I made mistakes sometimes. Caregiver fatigue. It happens. Dad stood up. You mixed up her medications on purpose? Rachel shrugged. Sometimes she needed to feel sick enough to appreciate me. The room went silent except for Mom's gasping. Still does, honestly, Rachel added. Amazing how grateful they get when you're the only one who knows which pill is which. Ms. Peterson set down her pen. Miss Chen, you're confessing to elder abuse. I'm confessing to being pragmatic. They wanted a caregiver. I wanted compensation. Everyone got what they needed. You poisoned your mother. I made her uncomfortable occasionally. There's a difference. And your brother? Got exactly what he deserved. Every bite, every hospital visit, every penny in medical bills. She smiled at me. The nerve damage is permanent, by the way. Tony told me. That specific venom causes progressive deterioration. Your hand will never fully recover. Every time it goes numb, every time you can't type, you'll remember that you don't fuck with family. Ms. Peterson stood up. This session is over. I'm calling the police. Rachel shrugged. Go ahead. I've got nothing left to lose. You just confessed to multiple felonies. And they let it happen for 7 years. They're complicit. She looked at our parents. You paid me to hurt him. Every check, every transfer. You knew what you were buying. Mom finally spoke through her gasps. We were scared. You were lazy. Easier to pay me than deal with me. She stood up, gathering her things. The viper's still out there, by the way. Tony has more. Beautiful specimens, much worse than what bit Alvin. She looked at me. Sign the inheritance papers, or next time I won't be so careful with the dosage. Ms. Peterson was already on the phone with police. Rachel walked to the door. They won't find anything. I learned from the best. 7 years of practice. She left. We sat in silence except for Mom's wheezing and the sound of sirens getting closer. The police arrived before Rachel could get back to the recording device. Don't touch that, Ms. Peterson said, holding the recorder above her head. Rachel lunged for it. Security grabbed her arms. She twisted, screaming. You set me up. She pointed at me. You knew I'd lose control. I just told the truth. You manipulated me. I showed evidence. You confessed. The police walked in. 2 officers. They looked at Miss Peterson. We have a recorded confession to assault with a deadly weapon, elder abuse, and extortion, she said. Rachel's face went white. I want a lawyer. You'll get one at the station. They cuffed her. She looked at our parents. Tell them this is a misunderstanding. Mom was still gasping. Dad finally found his voice. We did this. We enabled a monster. I'm your daughter. You poisoned your mother. Rachel laughed, bitter, sharp. And you let me. For 7 years. They led her toward the door. Edgar was in the parking lot, saw the cops, started walking over. What's happening? Rachel? Sir, step back, one officer said. That's my girlfriend. Edgar tried to push past them, grabbed the officer's arm. Bad move. They had him on the ground in seconds. Cuffed him too. Obstruction of justice, the officer said. Interference with an arrest. I didn't do anything. You just assaulted an officer. They put Rachel in one car, Edgar in another. Mom finally stopped gasping, started crying instead. 7 years of this? 7 years, I said. We knew, Dad said, looking at his hands. Every incident, every threat, we knew and we paid. You were scared. We were cowards. Ms. Peterson made another call. I need animal control at this address immediately. She showed them Rachel's phone, still unlocked. Photos of dozens of snakes. Locations. One labeled Tony's warehouse. Within an hour, they raided Tony's place. 47 illegal animals. Federal prohibition list species. Venomous snakes without permits, endangered species, all in filthy conditions, some dying, some already dead. Connor showed me the news report that night. Exotic animal dealer arrested in federal bust. Tony's mugshot, Rachel's name in the article, Edgar mentioned as an accomplice. My phone rang, the prosecutor. We need your full testimony, every incident, every document. You'll have it. She's looking at serious time. Assault with a deadly weapon, elder abuse, extortion, and now federal charges for the illegal animals. How long? If convicted on all counts? Years, not months, years. Mom called an hour later. We need to talk. About what? About what we did. What we allowed. What we paid for. Her voice broke. We fed the monster, Alvin. Every payment, every excuse, we fed it until it nearly killed you. It's not your fault. Yes, it is. And we're going to testify. Against our own daughter, because it's the only way to stop her. Dad took the phone. I'm sorry, son, for everything. Dad, no. Let me say this. We chose the easy path. Paid instead of confronted. Enabled instead of protected. Nearly cost you your life. The line went quiet. We failed you, he said. For 7 years, we failed you. October 2024. The courtroom smelled like wood polish and my father's shame. Rachel sat at the defendant's table in an orange jumpsuit. No pearls now, no pastel cardigan, just prisoner number 48,291. The prosecutor stood up. The state of California versus Rachel Chen. Assault with a deadly weapon, possession of illegal animals. Conspiracy to commit fraud. Extortion. Rachel's lawyer interrupted. My client pleads not guilty by reason of mental disease. The prosecutor smiled. Pulled out a laptop. Your Honor, we have the mediation recording. Rachel's voice filled the courtroom, clear, calm, calculating. The ball python was getting boring. He stopped flinching. Then, Tony said it would hurt, not kill. Just enough venom to cause tissue damage. Then, dead. He can't pay for things. Hospitalized? He's scared. Vulnerable. Compliant. The jury took 2 hours. Most of that was just paperwork. Guilty on all counts. Mom sobbed. Dad held her hand. Their testimony had sealed it. She brought snakes to family dinners, Dad had told the court. We saw the pattern. We knew. We paid her to stop, but she just got worse. Mom's testimony was harder to watch. I created this by always excusing her, always taking her side, always choosing the easy path. The judge spoke. Miss Chen, you systematically terrorized your family for 7 years. You weaponized their love and their fear. Rachel stared straight ahead. 18 months in state prison, 3 years probation, $65,000 restitution to your brother. Rachel finally looked at me. Nothing in her eyes, not anger, not regret, nothing. Additionally, lifetime prohibition on animal ownership. Any violation will result in immediate imprisonment. They led her away. She didn't look back. Tony's federal trial came next week. The prosecutor called me that night. 5 years federal prison, minimum. For the animals? For running an interstate trafficking ring. We found his network. 12 states, hundreds of illegal animals. What about Edgar? Pled down to harassment, got probation. Restraining order says 500 feet from you. The restraining order felt like paper armor. Edgar was out there, free, angry. Connor moved in permanently after that. Safety in numbers, he said. The victims' support group met that weekend. 5 families who'd bought from Tony, all with similar stories. Pets turned weapons, love turned control. The Johnsons showed their daughter's scars healing. The Parks' son was out of therapy. The Brennans were suing Tony's estate for their grandmother's death. Your testimony gave us justice, Mrs. Brennan said. Your family's honesty changed everything. My family. What was left of it. Dad called that night. We're in therapy now. Family counseling. Without Rachel? To understand how we enabled her, how we failed you. Dad, no, listen, the therapist says we created a golden child and a scapegoat. Rachel was the golden child who could do no wrong. You were the scapegoat who could never do enough. It's more complicated than that. Is it? We paid her to hurt you rather than protect you. We chose our comfort over your safety. Mom took the phone. Alvin, I need to say something. Her voice was stronger than it had been in years. I created this. Every excuse. Every payment. Every time I took her side. I built the monster that nearly killed you. She made her own choices, Mom. But I gave her permission. Every time I said you were overreacting. Every time I said be patient with your sister. I gave her permission to escalate. The therapist says we have trauma bonding with her, Dad added. We're addicted to the crisis she created. What does that mean? It means we miss her. Even after everything, we miss the chaos because it's all we've known for 7 years. Do you visit her? Silence. Once a month, Mom admitted. Supervised. She doesn't speak, just stares. Does she ask about me? No, she asks about her snakes, where they went, if they're okay. They were euthanized, too dangerous for zoos, too damaged for rehabilitation. We didn't tell her that. My hand went numb again, nerve damage flaring. The doctor said it would happen when stressed, random numbness for the rest of my life. I have to go, I said. Alvin, we love you. I know. Do you forgive us? I looked at my numb fingers, at the medical bills still scattered on my table, at Connor installing another security camera. I'm working on it. They'd been going to therapy for 3 months before Dad finally said the words. I was scared of her too. We were on a video call, Mom and Dad in their living room, same room where Rachel used to display her snakes. They'd repainted, but I could still see the shadow where the terrariums used to sit. The animals were just an excuse to keep distance, Dad continued. When she had that python around her neck, I couldn't get close enough to really look at what she was doing. Mom nodded. I knew about the missing money. You knew? Of course I knew. 80,000 doesn't just vanish. I saw the withdrawals, the transfers, the missing cash. Then why didn't you stop her? I thought if we gave her enough, she'd stop. Mom laughed, bitter, broken. Instead, we funded her weapons supply. Their therapist had diagnosed them with enabling disorder, trauma bonding, codependency, words that meant they'd chosen their abuser over their victim, chosen the easy lie over the hard truth. The family split, Dad said. You need to know that. Half the family had reached out to apologize. Uncle Ryan called last week. I was protecting the family image, not the family. I see that now. Cousin Derek sent a long email about growing up with an abusive sister, how he recognized Rachel's patterns because he'd lived them, how he was sorry for not seeing it sooner, but the other half still defended her. Aunt Martha sent money to Rachel's commissary account every week, posted on Facebook about the injustice of imprisoning someone for loving animals too much. Prison is too harsh, she told anyone who'd listen. She just needed help, not punishment. The family WhatsApp group had exploded into 2 factions, Team Alvin versus Team Rachel. Every holiday became a battlefield. Thanksgiving was canceled. Christmas split into 2 celebrations. Mom and Dad were caught in the middle. We can't choose sides, Mom said during our call. You already did. For 7 years. We're trying to make it right. By visiting her in prison? Dad's face crumpled. She's still our daughter. She tried to kill me. She's sick, Alvin. She's not sick. She's calculating. The therapist must have told you that. They looked at each other. That silent communication married couples perfect over decades. The therapist says she has antisocial personality disorder, Mom finally said. But that doesn't mean. It means she's a sociopath. Labels don't help anyone. They helped me understand why my sister tortured me for 7 years while you watched. Mom started crying. Dad rubbed her back, the same way he used to when Rachel would bring out the snakes and Mom would pretend everything was fine. We're learning about boundaries, Dad said. The therapist is teaching us what they are, how to set them, how to maintain them. What boundaries have you set with Rachel? No money, no packages, just visits. She asks for money? Every visit, says other inmates are threatening her, says she needs protection money. Is it true? We don't know, we don't send it. That was progress, small, painful, but progress. What about Edgar? I asked. He writes her. We see the letters sometimes during visits. That violates his restraining order. Not against her, just you, of course. The system protecting the accomplice's love story while I installed more cameras. The therapist wants to do a joint session, Mom said. You and us, to process the trauma together. I have my own therapist. We know. We just thought, maybe. Maybe what? We could pretend to be a normal family? We could try to heal. I looked at my hand. 3 fingers completely numb now. The nerve damage spreading exactly like Tony promised it would. Progressive, permanent, a lifetime reminder of family dinners. I'll think about it. That's all we ask. Dad cleared his throat. There's something else. Rachel's pregnant. The room spun. What? She's claiming she was pregnant when arrested. The prison did a test. It's real this time. Who's the father? Edgar. He's petitioning for custody when the baby's born. They're giving a baby to someone with a restraining order? Against you. Not the child. I hung up. Couldn't breathe. Couldn't think. Connor found me 20 minutes later, still staring at the blank screen. She's pregnant, I said. For real this time? 8 months. Baby's due while she's inside. Connor sat beside me. That kid's fucked. Unless someone intervenes. Not your job. Then whose? The child services lawyer called while I was in PTSD therapy. We need your testimony about your sister's history with animals. For the custody hearing. I couldn't answer. My therapist had to take the phone, explain that I was having a panic attack. That talking about Rachel's animals still triggered full-body responses. 6 months of therapy and I still jumped at shadows. Still couldn't walk past pet stores. Still woke up at 3 in the morning, checking my sheets for snakes that weren't there. The nerve damage was permanent. 3 fingers completely dead now. I typed at half speed, coded slower. My boss moved me to documentation work, less typing, more thinking. Same pay, but everyone knew why. Physical therapy twice a week, stretching dead nerves, trying to wake up pathways that the venom had burned. The therapist said 70% function was a miracle. I'd never get more. You're lucky, she said. Most people with this kind of nerve damage can't use their hand at all. Lucky. Right. The support group met Thursdays. I'd become a facilitator, teaching others to recognize coercive control, how it starts small, a borrowed car, a weird pet, a family member who needs too much. Document everything, I told them every week. Even if it seems crazy, even if no one believes you, my blog exploded overnight. When family becomes predator. 30,000 views the first week. Comments poured in. Stories worse than mine. Sisters who poisoned food. Brothers who staged accidents. Parents who weren't parents at all. I posted resources. Lawyers who understood. Therapists who specialized in family trauma. How to get restraining orders. How to build cases. How to survive. Delia helped edit posts. We worked late nights. Her apartment or mine. She understood the shaking hands. The random tears. The way I still checked doorknobs 3 times before bed. You survived something most people can't imagine, she said one night, her hand on my good one. You're not just surviving now. You're helping others escape, maybe more than friends. Maybe. If I could ever trust anyone again. Connor never left. Moved in permanently after the trial, installed cameras, changed locks, checked windows. I'd testify again tomorrow, he said whenever I apologized for the fortress we lived in. The apartment felt safe. First time I'd ever felt safe. Triple locks, security system, cameras everywhere, no snakes, no surprises. No family. Except that wasn't true anymore. The baby changed everything. Child services called again. Your sister gave birth yesterday. Baby girl, 5 pounds, 3 ounces, healthy. And? Edgar's petition for custody is being reviewed. We need character witnesses. For or against? Against. We have concerns about his history of harassment, his connection to the animal trafficking. Your testimony could prevent him from getting custody. I thought about that baby, born in prison. Mother a sociopath, father a stalker. What chance did she have? Who gets her if not Edgar? Foster care initially, then possibly adoption. What about my parents? They're being evaluated. But their history of enabling your sister's behavior is concerning. My parents, who'd paid for 7 years of torture, who'd chosen Rachel every time, who were just now learning what boundaries meant. I'll testify, I said. The hearing was next month. Another courtroom, another testimony, another round of reliving the worst years of my life. But maybe this time it would save someone instead of just punishing someone. My hand went numb again, stress response. I flexed the dead fingers, watching them move without feeling. Some damage you carry forever. Some wounds never heal, but you keep going. You build new life around the scars. You help others avoid the snakes. The baby deserved that chance. To grow up without snakes, without weapons disguised as love, without family that chose the easy lie over the hard truth. I opened my laptop, started typing with 7 working fingers. How to protect children from toxic family patterns. A guide for courts and social workers. It would be my most important post. The one that might save a 5-pound, 3-ounce baby girl from repeating history. Connor read over my shoulder. You're going to save that kid. Someone has to. Not your job. Then whose? He didn't answer. We both knew. When family becomes predator, strangers become salvation. The baby would never know her uncle fought for her before she could fight for herself. That was okay. The best protection is the kind you never have to know about. 1 year later, Rachel's letter arrived while I was packing boxes for Seattle. I found God, she wrote. I forgive you for putting me here. I didn't laugh, didn't cry, just handed it to Delia, who added it to the file with the others. 12 letters in 12 months. Each one a masterpiece of manipulation. Christ has shown me that my trials are his plan. You'll need me when mom and dad are gone. The baby deserves to know her real family. Never once. I'm sorry. Never. I hurt you. Never the truth. Mom called while I was taping the last box. We visited her yesterday. How'd it go? Same as always. She asked for money. We said no. She cried. The guard ended the visit. They'd gotten better at boundaries. Only supervised visits. No money on her commissary account. No packages. Just 1 hour a month watching their daughter manipulate them through reinforced glass. Her counselor called us, Dad said, getting on the line. Wanted us to know she's not showing any remorse. Just planning. Planning what? Revenge, probably. The counselor said to maintain no contact after release. That's still 17 months away. We know. We're moving too. Smaller place. Unlisted address. Mom's health had improved once the daily crises stopped. No more mysteriously missing medications. No more stress-induced chest pains. Just regular old age problems that regular doctors could handle. Dad managed their finances now. Really managed them. Budgets. Savings. No more hemorrhaging money to emotional blackmail. We're sorry, Mom said, like she said every call. For everything. I know. Do you forgive us? I looked at my dead fingers. I'm working on it. Trust was different than forgiveness. They'd never have my trust again. But forgiveness? Maybe. Someday. When my hands stopped going numb every time they called. The going-away dinner was small. Connor, Delia, 2 people from support group, and my parents, sitting stiffly at the far end of the table like guests at a stranger's party, which they were now, guests, not authorities, not the center, just 2 old people learning too late what love should have looked like. Connor raised his glass. To surviving the unimaginable. To new beginnings, Delia added, her hand finding mine under the table. To boundaries, Mom said quietly. Everyone drank. Even me, though alcohol still tasted like family dinners, like watching everyone pretend the snake on the table was a centerpiece. I lost 7 years to fear, I said. But I gained something. What? Dad asked. I'll never be anyone's victim again. The prison called the next morning, not Rachel, her counselor. She drew something in group therapy, thought you should know. She sent the photo, a pencil drawing, detailed, careful, a snake wrapped around a house, my new address in Seattle written underneath. How does she know where I'm moving? We don't know. She's not supposed to have outside information. Edgar had to be, still feeding her information, still helping her plan. What should I do? Move somewhere else. Don't tell anyone where, not even your parents. That's the plan. Mr. Chen, she's going to come for you when she gets out. I know. No, I don't think you do. I've worked with hundreds of inmates. Most are broken or angry or desperate. Your sister is none of those things. She's patient, calculating. She talks about you every day, not with anger, with ownership. Like your property she's going to reclaim. My hand went completely numb. All 5 fingers now, the nerve damage spreading faster with stress. What do you suggest? Disappear. Completely. Change your name if you have to. I hung up. Looked at the boxes packed for Seattle, the apartment I'd already paid deposit on, the job transfer I'd accepted. All useless now. She knew. Connor found me standing among the boxes holding my dead hand. She knows where I'm going. Then we go somewhere else. We? You think I'm letting you disappear alone? After everything? Delia arrived an hour later. Saw the drawing, understood immediately. Australia, she said. I have contacts there. Legal firms that need documentation specialists. You could work remotely. She'll find me. Not if you're careful. New name. New life. Clean break. I looked at the drawing again. The snake was a viper, fangs exposed, ready to strike. 17 months until she got out. 17 months to disappear completely. 17 months to become someone even Rachel couldn't find. The snake would always be hunting. But prey can evolve too. Prey can become something else entirely. Something that doesn't run. Something that can't be found. Something free.